Okay, because this video is going to cover a subject related to an individual with a toxic hate following, I am setting comments on this to be manually approved. This is mainly so I don't get nonsense comments calling me a criminal supporter or whatever from random NPCs, obviously from accounts who clicked on this only to comment. Those will stay hidden or removed, so you can't spread a false narrative on either me or the subject at hand. This isn't silencing criticism, it is to prevent toxicity and misinformation from spreading. And remember to keep in mind that it's still not okay to harass anybody who is discussed. I will not tolerate any of that behavior. Anyways, the video shall start. This is less of a video I wanted to make, but rather one I had to make. This relates to a user that I briefly went in depth on in my latest critique video, Kizer.
Oh no! My worst nightmare has returned! Ah!
Shit. Well, it seems that the other J left. Man, why's it gotta be so sensitive? Anyways, I encourage you to please go watch that video for context, specifically the bonus Kizer analysis chapter near the end. Long story short, Kizer is currently the most infamous member of the current incarnation of the GoAnimate Commentary Community. So abhorrent, he doesn't even belong in it. He's been accused of supporting criminals, which by their standards means they're one by default, and along with that, has said loads of unpleasant statements in the past, ranging from racism, to xenophobia, to death threats. Understandably, he's basically impossible to defend the actions of, given how much baggage some of those blunders carry. Within these past few weeks though, his channel has been affected with multiple strikes, as if YouTube has caught up with any violations he's probably done. At first he just privated all of his commentaries, but after receiving a second strike, he purged everything, including the playlists. Now under the usual circumstances, it wouldn't be worthy of responding to. Here's the kicker though, if you thought that these strikes were from violating community guidelines, you'd be shockingly mistaken. Yeah, apparently all the strikes he's been receiving as of late are for copyright violations. Unfamiliar types may assume that he's getting these strikes because of stolen content, but that is also not the case, as all of these strikes appear to be part of a plan to deplatform Kizer from YouTube in an act of revenge. Yes, that is how fucking low this controversy has gotten. Some rabid haters of his are abusing the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to try and get their way, and because it's YouTube, they've actually succeeded. Apparently his channel is slated to be taken down as early as the 13th, provided he doesn't receive a fourth strike or appeals any of his previous ones. Let's start with how it began. In late November, Jay posted a community post announcing he received a copyright strike. He didn't specify the video that gave him the strike, but it is known to be one of his past commentaries. Jay then set all of them to private soon afterwards, fearing future takedowns. Which honestly, given his ravenous negative following, sounds like a smart move. Normally people would feel sympathetic if he was hit by such a claim, but because he's infamous, most threw empathy out the window and celebrated it instead. This screenshot shows that over 2,000 reactions were given to this news, and 99% of them say he deserved it. If that does not illustrate the cultish tendencies and the long-term effects of user group brain rot, I'd be at a loss for words. Even Brendan goddamn Barney fell into this pit from hell. Oh, so he's the worst YouTuber in existence, eh? Animal abusers? Meh, not a problem. Groomers and pedophiles? I guess they're not all bad. Hateful and deceptive conspiracy theorists? Ivermectin probably isn't the worst virus aid. Probably. Apparently, a random nobody with zero influence, whose crimes are much lesser, is the worst YouTuber to infect this platform. I also find it amusing that you say how expected this was, when many of your most viewed videos are bootlegs of Teletubbies. I shit you not. Like, geez, I don't hold anything against you for that, but it's still woefully hypocritical. But that's enough with drifting off topic. Even if this was to be expected, the reactions were needlessly aggressive and uncalled for. This is just the start of things to come. Around 2 weeks later, he would receive a second strike. Jay didn't make a public announcement this time. Apparently whistleblowers like this one did instead. With how the word spread, it's evident that there was a plan in place to eliminate Jay. Knowing that they were anticipating his ban, I chimed in to say that this situation was being taken way too far. Jay has done some genuinely awful shit, but it does not justify bombarding him with false DMCA claims in the hopes of getting rid of him. But deep down though, my words weren't gonna change anything, because they only cared about winning this petty fight. Nothing was gonna stop them from doing this deplorable behavior, because their robotic audience have no souls and decided that the best way to fight an extreme was to be more extreme in retaliation, thus disregarding any morals or better judgment, because that would interfere with their motives. Also because they honestly don't have the mental capacity to realize what they're doing is wrong. That's undeniable. Around the same time this happened, Jay would admit his wrongdoings in the hopes of regaining some respect back. He doesn't realize he has to actually earn that respect, but that's not the crux of the issue here. At first a few of his followers would forgive him, but at large the consensus was divided in favor of the dissenters.
Accepted. Psych denied.
Naturally, whatever apologies he did give mattered none. Because of this being a cultivated effort with malicious intent, word came out only a few days later that Jay received his third strike. So how do you feel about that, you insecure lizard? He's like, I'm gonna get taken down in less than a week. You might be proud of that, but trust me, you shouldn't. Because this is actually really bad. The precedent this sets for not only infamous users, but content creators as a whole should scare you. By abusing the broken nature of internet copyright regulation, they performed and encouraged the mass reporting of users they despise for any reason they choose. If it's this fucking easy to take down someone through illegitimate DMCAs, who's to say this mindset won't spread farther? And if anything, this demonstrates how corrupt this law even is. Sure, these lowlives wouldn't last a second in an actual court case, but it doesn't matter since this bullshit largely goes unchallenged. The DMCA on its own was designed to benefit entertainment oligarchs, but it also serves as a useful weapon even for those who hold no valid copyrights. Especially so on YouTube. Doesn't matter if you're a major distributor or...
First of all, when I oopalad that video, he just stole it from me.
The nature of this law allows content to easily be claimed fraudulently, and the only authority that can challenge or validate its legitimacy is a judge. And that's only if it goes into a court of law. While false takedowns are technically illegal, many companies and users get away with it because of loopholes. This also proves to me that the very real threat of cancel culture can abuse this to silence any criticism of them or anything else. What we're seeing here is also an effective form of bullying, another legal offense. Holy fuck. I thought these assholes upheld law and order or some shit. Then again, not unlike conservatives, their moral compass is very selective and biased, so it's best not to trust them. And you might think I'm being overdramatic, but this has happened so often before, often going unreported. While not common enough that you need to think about this every day, the possibility of it happening is still there unless something gets changed with the law. For the record, this would not be the only time that this has happened within the sludge of the GoAnimate community either. Earlier this year, another infamous Go commentator named Jonah Campbell had his old account terminated for the same reason Jay's soon will. Commentary channel Spoctor actually did a video about this nonsense drama recently, and it's well worthy of a watch. And hey, maybe I am overreacting about the severity of this a slight bit, because looky here, Jonah does in fact remain on YouTube just under another account, and I don't care if he begs for comments or thinks navels are private parts. We shouldn't see this pattern be repeated. Cringe factor or their previous bad behavior doesn't excuse harassment of any kind. This raises the question, what the hell even is the point of this crusade? Not only is Jay seeming to lay low during this event, and frankly I don't blame him, he likely has other accounts just like Jonah did, meaning that this won't be a lasting victory for these desperate clowns. You could call that ban evasion, but if the takedown was through cheating and unfair means, I can't give a solitary shit. Plus, I'm 100% certain this account labeled J Kizer's second account is a fraud. Like, come on, this isn't convincing one bit. Even an idiot like myself knows that that's a sussy baka among gumpers moment. Cringe. But honestly, that's not even the stupidest part of it all. Unless this guy is talking out of their butt, the supposed claimant stepped in to admit their sinister goals and requested it be pinned. This reads as an especially awful and moronic admission considering that they spilled the beans about giving out those false strikes. How exactly are you in the right to do this? I have serious doubts that Jay took any videos they made, so legally they wouldn't be in the clear. At the same time, I'm partially glad they owned up to their offense, merely so I could ask them how it felt being an abuser of the DMCA for their sadistic benefit. Not only are they proud about doing so, but they also gave themselves an unworthy hero status. Look, just because the community wanted it, it doesn't make it admirable. By doing this, you have stooped to the level you think Jay's at. Probably even worse considering what you did was essentially blackmail. I have been critical of Jay and all, but this is low even by those standards. And I thought that some stooping to his level by making killing gifts out of him was sad. For the time being, that's the end of this story. So, where does it all go from here? Honestly, I just expect Jay to make a return eventually, but with a bit more care put into his presentation. Despite whatever crap I've said, I'm honestly gonna miss him a little. Unlike the swarm of painfully mediocre Go commentators, he was at least mildly interesting in his approach. Sure, he was probably the worst of the lot, but garbage is still better than being flavorless. While he may have deserved much of the criticism he got, he didn't deserve hate anywhere close to this scale. Shame on everyone who bullied him off. Doesn't matter if Jay himself has done similar crap, it doesn't give you the moral high ground. Your behavior isn't even worth the A-log label. You're not good enough for that. You're closer to being a Bella Janky by comparison, and that's when you should realize you really fucked up. The thing I'm taking most from this though, is the likelihood that this seedy tactic will be used on plenty more users they hate in the future. More proof that our current copyright laws and division from society will continue to wreak havoc. If this is the future of internet justice, nobody will be safe. Anyone who resorts to this extreme of a measure is a heartless scumbag, no matter how atrocious the victims are. I won't even bother promoting my social medias or whatever. I don't want to ruin such a serious response video with that. I guess I should just end the video off. Fortunately, I shouldn't be gone for too long. Now I must blast off to the conformant dimension. Bye-bye!